Alright, so the first filter function we're looking at is the calculate tax function, which is a function that would allow you apply filters to your data while you are still calculating a specific expression or measure. Alright, so let's look at this question. We have some questions here using function to calculate. You have to calculate the total number of sales made in the NOT. Also, you have to calculate the number of orders placed with quantity greater than 50. Then calculate the sales made for high sales, and look at how to calculate the total sales amount for all products based on date. So let's start with the first one, calculate the total sales made in the NOT. So I'll go back to my Power Pivot. Total sales made in the NOT. I'll select somewhere in my calculation area, then come here and I would say total sales in NOT. I can just say total sales NOT, depends on what you want to use. Then colon equal to, don't forget, if you don't put your colon it would not work. You have to put your colon before the equal to sign. Colon equal to, then I'll say calculate. Don't I type in calculate, you see the calculate function here, DAX function. It evaluates an expression in a context modified by filters. So I'll double click on the blue box, and the first argument is the expression. The expression could be either a DAX formula or function or an already calculated measure. What do I mean? Now we want to find the total sales made in the NOT. So let's start. We already calculated the value for total sales, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we've done that. Total sales, you can see here, total sales here. Total sales is here. So I'll come here. We already calculated this measure, total sales. I'll come here and I'll say total sales. Total sales. You can see this here, total sales. Anytime you see this summation sign, it means that's an already calculated measure. So I'll double click on this total sales and I'll put it comma. And the next argument becomes active, which is a filter. Okay, so saying what do you want to filter this total sales based on? I want to filter it based on the region NOT. So I'll type in region. The moment I type in region, any table or any column with that name would appear. Currently you can see dim region. It's telling you that region is coming from the table dimension region. So I'll double click on region, this one, and I'll hit equal to. Then I'll type in NOT. You have to make sure that what you are typing in is exactly what is in the column. So I'm saying that I want to calculate the total number of sales in the NOT region. This is my filter. I'm filtering based on the NOT region alone. Now I'll close my parentheses and I'll hit enter. The moment I close my parentheses, I get a value. So let me just drag this so we can see the value. Well, so you can see that we have this. I'll format it, add a comma to it, then reduce decimals. Okay, so we have this here. Now let me show you another way. This is when your expression is an already calculated measure. What if you don't have the measure calculated already? You want to just type in the formula straight away. So I'd come here, select somewhere here. I can just copy this formula, right? Since I don't want to go through it over again, Ctrl C, copy it, then select somewhere in this calculation area, come here, Ctrl V to paste, and I'll give this not sales in region 1 to differentiate it from the other one, else it will not save it well. Then I'll remove this total sales, this already calculated measure, and I'll type in sum. I want to sum. What do you want to sum? Okay, so I'm saying sum. What do you want to sum? Open my parentheses. I want to sum the sales amount. So I'm selecting sales amount and I'll close my parentheses. Okay, now sum sales amount. I'm closing my parentheses for that for sum. So you can see this becomes my expression. Sum all the sales amount, then filter it based on the region NOT. Now hit enter. We should have the same value as the first one. Can you see? We have the same value, exactly the same value. So let's go back to our questions. It's saying calculate the number of orders placed with a quantity greater than 50. This is where you have your comparison operators coming, where you're using either a greater than sign or less than equal to. So calculate the number of orders placed with quantity greater than 50. I'll come here in my Power Pivot. I'll rename this, give it, let's say I'm giving it orders greater than, orders with quantity QTY greater than 50 colon equal to calculate. It will always come first. Calculate. Then I'll open, my parenthesis is open currently. What is the expression? I want to find total orders with quantity greater than 50. That means our expression is going to be the summation of all the total orders. Since we already calculated total orders here, all I have to do is just type in total orders, the measure. We already calculated it. Total orders. So click on the box, and I have this. Then comma. What then is my filter? I want to filter it based on quantity greater than 50. And I would say quantity. Can you see order fact table quantity? Double click on this, and I'll say greater than 50. Now don't forget, when you're dealing with text, if what you are filtering is based on a text value, you wrap it in double quotation marks. But if it's just a number, just type in the number like that without putting it in a quotation mark. Then I'll close my parentheses. What this means is you're saying calculate the total orders where the quantity is greater than 50. Then I'm going to hit enter. I should have a value for it. Can you see that? So it's telling me we have over 41 quantities, 41 orders that were placed that were greater than 50. And let's go back to our question. The next one is calculate the sales made for high sales. Calculate the sales made for high sales. So I'll go back. I want to calculate the sales made for high sales. I'll come here and I'll just give it total high sales colon then equal to. Don't forget we already created a category, another column named sales category. So I'll come here, then say calculate. The expression is going to be total sales. So click on this, comma. Now my filter is going to be that my sales category. Can you see that? So I'll go with this first one. Double click on the box. Equal to. Then I'll come here, open my quotation mark, and I would say high sales. Don't forget I said it must be exactly what is in that column. High sales. So you can see we have high sales. Very good. Then let's close my parentheses and hit enter. Let's see what we're going to have. We would have a result for it. So we have a result. We're saying we have a total of 55,800 as total of sales made from the high sales. Now let's go back to the question. So it says calculate the total sales amount for all the products based on date. So here we're showing us the two filter functions, another two filter functions. We just looked at how to use calculate. So I'll show us the all and the all selected. And let's go back. We want to calculate the total sales amount for all the products based on date using the all filter function first. Now let's go back. I'll come here, then I would select somewhere around the calculation area as usual. Come here and I would say percentage. It should be percentage of sales for products based on date. So let me just wrap it around dates. Let's see, is this going to let me see if it's going to work out with this bracket that I'm putting here, equal to. Okay, so let's see. Use calculate function. No, let's start with divide first, because we want to find the percentage of sales for products. So we'd say divide, double click on the blue box, the parenthesis is open now. What is going to be our numerator? The total sales. If we are going to find the percentage of sales for some products based on the date, so total sales is going to be our numerator, then comma. Our denominator now will be, we are going to calculate and filter the sales for the product based on the date. So calculate Calculate what? Total sales. Total sales. Very good. Comma. Now filter. So in this case, instead of just going straight to select the date from the rolling calendar, I'll just use the function all function. So you can see all says it returns all the rows in a table for or all the values in a column, ignoring any filter that might be applied. So I'll show you. We'll go back to our pivot table now and see what this all function is all about. So let's do this. I'll click on this now. The argument it takes is either the table name or column name. So it's coming from the rolling calendar because I want it to be based on dates, rolling calendar. And I'll close my parentheses. Also close my parentheses again. So let's see this total sales. Yeah, it's not properly total sales. You have to make sure that it's in a square brackets, else it's not pointing to that measure. Total sales. I think I'm good to go. Okay, it's remaining one bracket and I'm good. So hit enter. I should have my value. It's going to be showing 1, right? Just in whole number. So I have to convert it to percentage. Percentage. Then I would reduce decimals. Very good. And let's look at for all selected. So for smart work, I'll just come here and highlight all these. Ctrl C to highlight everything. Then come here, select somewhere else, then paste it. Ctrl V. I'm going to give this let me say all selected. All selected. So instead of all, we use all selected. Selected. Okay. Now let's hit enter. Let me rename this to show that I use the all function here. So I'll type in all. Okay. Hit enter. And let's go back to our pivot table and see. So here in pivot table, we have it here. If you check through your pivot table feeds, you should see all the measures we've created. There, you should see them. You can see percentage of sales for products based on date, all, and all selected. Okay, so we are using this pivot table is containing the products, our products, and total sales. So let's say I'm adding the percentage of sales for all products based on dates. So I have it this way. Currently, you're just saying 100%, 100%. So Ctrl C, then you can either paste it Ctrl V like this, or you can just, come down here to pivot table and you see from data model. Once you hit from data model, it takes you, okay, do you want existing sheet? Yes, existing sheet. Okay, then to tell you, you can see it again, but I don't want to follow that route, so I'll just delete this instead of going through that stress. Just copy. One of the importance of copying pivot tables and pasting it is that it links one pivot table to the other. So Ctrl V. I'm going to remove this all sales for products for all, and I'll add the one for all selected. Now I'm going to show you the difference between both. But one thing you should know, okay, now we have a problem, and the problem is that we didn't change this to percentage. I'll go back to my Power Pivot, and I'll change this to percentage. This particular one, percentage. Change to percentage. Reduce decimals. Okay, so it's reduce decimal. Very good. And let's go back. So we should have it correct. Now you're seeing 100%, right? For your all and your all selected filter functions to work, you have to apply a filter to your pivot table, else it will not work. It will just be like that. So I'm going to add a filter now. Select any of your pivot table you want to filter, then click on the insert tab. Go to your, so I'm going to be using timeline. I already shared what the difference between timeline and Stylizer is all about, what it is. So I'm using timeline. I want to pick the date. Now hit OK. I want to make sure that my timeline is connected to all the pivot table. So I'll report connection. Now check all the boxes. Okay. So remember I said that for these functions to work on your pivot table, there has to be a slicer or a timeline connected to it. Okay, so for the all function, what all function does is that it returns values, ignoring any type of filtering or slicing that have been applied to your data. What for the all selected, what it will do is that it only returns value based on what you selected on your slicer or your timeline, or based on that filtering you've applied to it. What do I mean? So currently you're just saying 100. Now look at the one for the all for the all if you want to use the all function to filter our data. Despite the fact that we applied the filter, you're seeing Q2, that's quarter, for the second quarter of the year. You're seeing Q2. It's still showing us 30%, 32%, 23%, and 29% as a total. It doesn't add up, right? So what this means is that it's showing us this is 30%. This is showing us, okay, that for widget A, it makes up 30% of all the sales. For widget B, it makes up 32% for all the sales. For widget C, makes up 23% for all the sales, and combined all together makes 29% of all the total sales. Remember that all the total sales is over 66,500. If I'm not mistaken, let's go back and see. Total sales, all. If I'm not mistaken, total sales should be around let's see, around 60 something. If I'm not mistaken, that's what the total sales should be around. Yes, can see that, yes, 66,250. So it's telling us that can see 19,000 is like 29% of that amount, 66,250. This is what the all function will do. It would ignore whatsoever filter that has been applied on your data and return the exact and correct value that it should return. Why for the all selected? The all selected, now you'll be wondering if you should try working with some data. You might not see 100%. You would see maybe the 30%, 32, 23, and you see 100%, right? What the all selected is, it only returns your data based on this Q2, this filtering. It will not ignore the filtering. For all selected, it will ignore this, Q2, this filtering that you've applied. Which will ignore it and return the value it should return based on all the dates. Why for all selected, it will not ignore your filtering and return value based on the filtering you've applied, based on the Q2, currently on Q2. So what you're seeing now is data based on Q2. So it's telling you, and anytime you're seeing 100%, right, after you've applied all selected, it means that the value you are seeing is exactly the same thing with the normal data. Exactly. So you're saying 7,100 is exactly the same thing when you compare it when you've not applied filter to it. 7,150, 4,700. So when I click on Q3, you can see this one changes. It's telling you this makes up 15%. Widget A makes up 15%. Widget B makes up 16%. Widget C makes up 18%. But combining all the percentage of the total of all this makes up 16% of the total sales, right? So that's current. This is just based on the selected quarter. That's for all selected. So I hope you understand the difference between all and all selected. All, we ignore the filter, whatsoever filter you apply to your data, and return the exact value you return based on the total sales. But for all selected, it will not ignore the filter and it will work with the filter and return the value based on that filter. I hope we are clear. If you are not clear, the comment section is there for questions. Alright, do well to practice as usual. I'm always here to answer your questions. The materials to every of the videos are always in the link of in the description of the video. Thank you. We'll meet in our next video. Bye.